Hey guys, wanted to give you guys a quick look at a new box mod I just got. I picked this up from Vape Loft in Edgewater, Maryland. It is the Gen 2, see it right there, Gen 2 box mod. It's a lithium ion or LiPo battery. It's got over 3,000 milliamp hours, which actually it can end up lasting you right around 2 to 3 days. They still say to charge it pretty much every single night, just to kind of keep the battery fresh. You don't want the LiPos dying on you or going too low. And it does have a safety cutoff for low voltage, and just in case you run into that. It's got a master on-off switch right here. So just turn it to the right, it's off. Turn it to the left, fires right up. They do suggest to run these with 26650 atomizers. On here right now I have I believe it's a tobacco clone Tobe, and it does have it's got a really nice deck, and it does get it goes up to 504 watts roughly. So it can get pretty warm depending on what you build it at. So if you build it at 0.14, which is the lowest it can handle, it will be at 504 watts. It supplies 8.4 volts of power to the atomizer. Turn that safety back off. It definitely puts out a lot of power. You also want to wrap these coils a little bit different than you would on a normal box mod, since this is unregulated and has a LiPo battery in there. You do want to make the diameter of the coil bigger and run a little bit higher of an ohms. I think this is at 0.6 ohms, I want to say, and it is roughly 120 watts, I believe it's pushing out now. So like I said, I mean, you can push it all the way up to 504 watts. I have a couple buddies that have this exact same mod, and they have theirs right around 4 to 450. They seem to like it. Of course, they also have the mutation on there, mutation XL. Put some juice on there. I'm gonna go ahead and go over the. Let's put this top cap back on there. Set that off to the side. This is the charger it comes with. It's the LiPo balance. It's IMAX B6. Essentially, if any of you guys are into RC cars, it's essentially the same thing. It does charge at you want to charge it at 5 amps. Usually, it takes roughly. Anytime I've charged it, the longest I've ever had to charge it was maybe an hour. And that's if I've drained it off pretty good. So essentially what this is, on the right side, this is your balance wire. So this is going to balance between two cells. You don't have to use this. If you ever lose this wire, you don't have to use it. But LiPo batteries do like to be balanced. And then this is the positive that actually charges both cells. And these essentially just come out same as like same as an amplifier. I mean, that's pretty much all it is, this charger. So just line up red to red, black to black. Push those in. So this right here, that is your actual charging positive. And then, like I said, this one is the balancer. Just got rid of my Segeli 100 watt, and I liked that for a long time, but didn't really care for it because it didn't have a spring-loaded 510, which this one does. It has the Fat Daddy Vapes 510 with the floating spring-loaded pin. So that's a joy, not having to adjust that every time you want to switch an atomizer or you rebuild it and the screw slightly comes out. Plus it was a copper screw, so it got eaten up pretty quick. Let me go ahead and plug this in. It's AC regular AC adapter, just plug in the wall. It'll come on, it'll go through all of its checks. Once you plug the battery in, it'll come up with a check. It'll check battery to make sure the cells are okay and there's nothing that's shorted or anything like that. So you plug white into white, red into red, and then it'll come up with a screen and it'll say LiPo charge. You want to switch that to LiPo balance to balance the cells. You also want to make sure it's 7.4 volts and 2S. 2S means that it's a 2-cell LiPo. And then here's where you can change the amps that you want it to charge at. You can charge it at lower amps if you'd like. They just suggest charging at 5 amps, plus it'll charge within no more than 2 hours and last, you know, probably from what they say on their website, which I've never had it die on me, but it'll last roughly 2 to 3 days on a full charge, even pushing a lot of wattage. So it is nice. You do not open these. I don't know if you guys can see, there's tamper-proof screws. These are one direction screws, so you won't be able to open these. If you do, you'll have to drill them out. Pretty clean on the inside. I'll throw a link in the description to purchase this off of their website, and also I will throw in an image of the inside, just so you can see. It does use a MOSFET switch. The button's very nice. It's nice and nice springy button. Not real clicky, but not clicky like the Sigelis or the IPVs. But it is nice and springy, and you can hear it click. But other than that, it definitely changes. Definitely kind of makes you change the way you're gonna vape, or at least the way you build your coils, because you do want to build a little bit higher of an ohms. The way the modder explained it to me is, if you're used to, like, let's say me, I always vaped at around 0.2 to 0.25, just for a mechanical mod. I would typically vape at 0.2 to 0.25, somewhere in there. When I spoke to the modder himself, he said typically what you want to do is multiply that by 4, so that's roughly about 0.8. So you'd want to build a 0.8 coil or somewhere in there. A lot of people try and start off with 1 ohms, because 1 ohms is still putting out it's a decent amount of power, since it's supplying 8.4 volts to the atomizer itself. Yeah, so nothing too crazy. I mean, I've had a lot of, you get things like let's see, like this cheap mod. It's the Hades clone, and this thing's got some serious voltage drop. I had a full volt of drop off to the atomizer through that, and I checked that with a true RMS meter, so it's pretty accurate. Yeah, let's see. Standard, and you can look at reviews for this atomizer if you'd like. It's a pretty standard one, 3-post design. If you've never seen one, I do have it packed with a lot of cotton, because these you can, since you're wrapping around I want to say, let's see, I wrapped that around a 5/32 drill bit, and I believe I did 11 wraps, and that's with 24 gauge. So with how hot it gets, it will get dry hits quick if you're not careful. So you gotta really wick this thing good. I have had a dry hit off of it just recently. I've only had it for maybe a few days to a week at most. I have had a dry hit off it, and it is not pleasant, just like anything else. The only difference is it's putting out 100 to 120 watts somewhere in there with the build I have on there, and it's only built at 0.6 or 0.67, I believe. So yeah, that's the mod itself. Let me show you this again too. These are the charging. This is the charging port itself, and that is the balancing connection. And they're in there very good. He tried to kind of trim this down a little bit. I don't know if you guys can see you probably see it in the light a little bit. It looks a little rough. I believe he tried to trim it down to make it kind of flush. The balancer has to be out a little bit because it has these small clips right here that clip onto the balancing connection itself. So that does have to stay like that, but it doesn't wobble terribly. It's got a slight wobble, but this thing's, I'd say it's roughly it may be a little bit heavier than the Sigelei 100 watt with this atomizer on, but once you take that atomizer off, it's a pretty light mod. I know it looks pretty beefy. It is a little bit bigger than like the Duke boxes. I think it's the next size of the box up if you ever look at the sizes for those. This one does have vape lofts. Does have vape loft inscribed into it, and it is actually really nice. I'm not sure what all machining that they use to do that, but it does feel very nice, and I haven't dropped this or anything yet, but I'm sure it'll come soon. But yeah, none of this is definitely gonna get messed up at all. And the aluminum itself, it's kind of got like a you can see it. It's kind of a stonewash outside, so it's pretty sturdy. I don't think this thing's gonna break anytime soon, if if it were to ever fall over on the table or something. So shouldn't have to worry about that. Let's see, the top cap for this I did drill out. I did not add any additional holes, but I did drill the existing ones out to whatever this size is. Let's see. Nope, wrong bit. Let's see. Yeah. See, I drilled them out to 3/8 inch holes, or roughly the next size down, actually, I want to say. So yeah, I did drill those out slightly. Like I said, the Mutation X is probably the better of the two to use on this, but I mean, for flavor, this is great for flavor. It's got the, it has a conical top cap on it, so no nothing weird going on here, just the same old conical top cap. It's got a nice, really nice O-ring, and the O-rings on the sleeve itself are very strong, which I like, because I actually like dripping through the top cap instead. And this is a Cherry Vapes drip tip, which is nice. The drip tip itself is a little tight for my liking. I had to cut it down also too, for it to sit semi-flush, which it's not totally flush, but you can look. There's a slight gap there, but I kind of don't mind it on this atomizer, since it has these heat sinks on the side. Kind of gives it the same look up top. But yeah, on any other atomizer, it does look a little funny. Like I had on the 18650 version of the Mutation, which is very nice. But even when I try to use this with the airflows completely full open, it's still too hot on this device. So I mean, it also depends on what you build it at, but I feel like the chamber is too small for that to be slightly cooler. I don't like real long draws on these, so it kind of works out for me that they're a little bit hotter. Even on this, it's semi-warm. So if you do end up picking one of these up, these go for, I believe right now there's a special. They're $180 even, obviously plus tax and shipping, and it is a 3-week wait. Unless you can find it at a local dealer. They do have a list on their website of local dealers or resellers that do have that in stock. You just have to call around, just kind of see which one of them does have it in stock. Let's see, other than that, I'll go ahead and show you a quick vape off of it. Like I said, this is only running at 120 watts. I can go up much higher than that. Sorry if the lighting's kind of bad. I'm roughly 4 feet from the camera. Try and get some decent draws on here. Make sure it's all juiced up, because you don't want to dry hit from it. So yeah, this is definitely a very decent box. So far it's been my favorite mod, I would say. Like I said, it's just a beast. I mean, you can't go wrong with it. Just put plenty of wick in there, and you'll be fine. You definitely have to wick it a little bit different compared to mutation. Mutation, you know, you don't pack it full, but you put enough in there just to keep it from getting a dry hit. Same with like the Doge. It's the same, pretty much the same build in almost every one. But let's see. But yeah, anyway. So yeah, if you find one, go ahead and pick it up. I promise you, you will not be disappointed by this one. Put these drill bits away. You won't be disappointed by it. It's probably the best box mod I've ever used. It puts out the most power compared to, you know, I use the Sigelei 100 watt for probably, I want to say at the very least maybe 6 to 8 months, maybe 5 months. And that, you know, the Sigelei 100 and the 150 watt and the IPv3, they're very nice, but you know, you have to trade off a lot of power, a lot of things you lose. You know, if you're into looking for a competition mod, it also has a 60 amp MOSFET switch, so it's good up to 60 amps. They usually use the MOSFETs just so you're not putting all that amperage through the switch, so you'll end up frying the switch, which I actually had happen not that long ago on my Duke. Let's see, like something like this. So there's no way you're gonna be able to run. There's no way you're gonna be able to run a that much amperage anywhere near it. That's actually my wife's trying to get her onto the vape. She doesn't smoke, but she smokes when she drinks. So I'd rather get her off of that and try and get her to vape while she drinks. And the master switch, obviously, that disconnects all power. It's not gonna fire. Yeah, she puts out pretty good. So that's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, if you guys wanted to look up this charger, this is the IMAX B6. You can actually find these a lot of places. They're $30, $40 from what I've seen. These are $30, $40 from what I've seen. Digital display, they tell you the amperage that you're charging at, and it also tells you how full the battery is. I'll probably go ahead and do another video explaining the menu system on this. It is a little more complicated, but once you get it set to this mod, you do just leave it at that, and all you have to do is plug it in, click on hold and start, and then it'll check the battery, hit start again, and it'll start charging. It'll even give you how long it took you to charge it. So that's pretty much it for the charger. It seems a lot more complicated than it is. I thought it was gonna be kind of a pain to do this, and it does have a lot of ports on the side for other charging cables here. But like I said, you won't really need those. You only need this one balancing cable. These are for different cell batteries. But yeah, other than that, I'll go ahead and post a video probably sometime later in the week after I edit everything, just for the menu system on the charger. And I'll also pull out the safety sheet, which actually I have. Yeah, I should have it in there. So I'll pull out the safety sheet just to kind of give you guys some specs on the battery and what you are and are not supposed to do on that. Alright, thanks guys. You guys have a good one.